Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to a Wednesday video you probably weren't expecting, but I am so excited. I am participating in a collab that is called the Alabama Fab 5 Collab. Now, I was contacted by Crafting Cousins and asked to be a part of this, and I'm so honored and grateful that they asked me. This collab has to do with spring wreaths and spring swags. I'm trying not to lisp on you guys. And I'm going to be doing a wreath. But here's what's cool about our collab. Each of the five channels had to challenge one of a different channel to use a certain like ingredient in their project. So I have been challenged by Our Green Acres, and I will put a link to them in the description below, a link to their video. I've been challenged by Our Green Acres to use something with lace. And if you guys know me at all, lace is like the last thing I choose ever. So this has been very interesting for me to figure out this project. And I am going to be challenging Crafting Cousins, and I am challenging them to use battery operated candles or battery operated lights in some way in their project. So I thought that would be interesting, something battery operated for them. You can, as a viewer, one viewer can win a $50 Amazon gift card, and all you have to do that is follow the links in the description below and watch all 5 videos, and make sure you comment on every video. That's what enters you to win. And then the announcement for that will be made later, and I'll be sure to post back on my channel and let you guys know who all won, or who won the $50 gift card. So I think without further ado, we make our spring wreath project. Now I gotta show you something. I'm going to be doing something strange this time because I'm going to make a spring wreath that uses black mesh. This was the challenge I gave myself. I thought if I have to use lace, which is my least favorite product, but well, no, it's probably glitter then lace. Okay. But if I have to use lace, I'm going to use something I love, and that's black. So we'll see how this goes. So I'm going to be using what we call our one roll wonder technique. So I've got this roll of mesh, and I have my wreath form. And a lot of you guys ask me about my wreath forms. These forms are the elevated forms that we carry in our store, but we are having a hard time getting them this year. Like, all of our suppliers are sold out, but the minute I get them, we are ordering them, and you can get them back from us again. This one is what they call a 15-inch wire. The wire part is 15 inches, and then it has 18 twists on it. So just to let you know that. So here's what we're going to do to start. I'm going to take a piece of tape, and I'm going to put it on my work surface, and this is going to be my ruler. If I can get this tape off of here, which usually isn't that hard. There we go. So I'm just going to give myself a piece that I know is longer than 10 inches. And I'm going to stick it down here. Now I'm going to take a ruler, and to this tape, I'm going to add some measurements. The first measurement being 7 inches. So I'm just going to make myself a mark right here, and I'll know that's 7 inches. You can write 7 if you want. Then I'm going to make a mark at 8 inches. And then I'm going to make a mark at 10 inches. And if you want to, you could go ahead and like cut that off there and know that's a 10-inch mark. But that's just how I'm going to do it. So I have a 7-inch, an 8-inch, and a 10-inch. If you're using your cutting mat, you don't even have to do that. So now I've got my ruler laid out. I can start putting my wreath together. So this is my form, and I'm going to open up my first twist. Now I start from the bottom. Some people like to start from the top, and you can do that, but I start from the bottom. So I'm going to open my first twist. So taking my mesh, I'm going to scrunch up the loose end in my hand, just like that, okay? And then I'm going to put it into my first twist, and this will get me started. And I'm just going to turn that twice just to hold that in place. I don't happen to know what exactly I'm doing on this wreath. I've got some supplies I want to use, but I don't know how it's going to turn out. So I don't know how many times I'll come back and open this, but we'll find out together. All right, so down here on my mesh, I'm looking through to my ruler, and I'm finding my 10-inch mark, and I'm going to scrunch and open and place. Now, if you would like to watch a video where I am only explaining the one roll wonder wreath, I will put that in the description for you guys, because I do have a video where we're just doing that. We're not doing the collab and all the chatty part here. So I go ahead and poof up this first one, and now I'm going to take that twist, place it over my ruler, make another 10-inch measure, and put it in the next twist. And that's what I'm going to do all the way around. We're going to do 10-inch poofs around the bottom. It changes on the top, so before you go to the top, if you're making this along with me, pay attention before you get there, because we're going to make one change. All right, so I'm going to keep going with 10-inch poofs. So I'm almost back to the beginning, and it's important that I tell you a couple of things. Number one, I don't have any idea how this wreath is going to look. We have not made one. We've not tested this theory. I just have an idea. And number two, no matter what I do, if I stop before I'm finished, this wreath won't look good. Mesh doesn't work like that. You have to complete the project before it looks good. All right, it's my last one. So I grab 10 inches. I open up this is where I started. This is my loose end of my mesh. I'm going to open this twist up, and I want you to notice that my mesh is not going to fly out. It stays down in there. So I place this on top, and then I twist this twice over it. And then I come back and do my little poof. I feel like I got a little bit long on my poofs in some places, but I'm not going to stress about it. All right, so now what you can do is you go to the top rung, and this is where we call like going upstairs or stepping up one time. So you can cut this away if you want. We just typically don't. It's just as easy just to keep going. So I'm going to open this twist, and taking my roll of mesh, the piece that's still attached, I'm just going to stretch it up, and I'll do it this way so you can see what I'm doing. I'm just stretching it up here, and I'm just going to lock it into that first twist. And that way I don't have to get my scissors. I just go just like that. All right. Now, using my ruler again, I'm going to use my 8-inch mark. You don't want to do a 10-inch poof on the top, because we found if you do 10 inches on the top, your wreath gets too tall, and you want to keep it kind of, you'd rather your wreath be wide and flat versus tall and round, if that makes sense. So I'm going to take this twist that I just stepped up into, put that at the end of my tape, and then hovering over to the 8-inch mark, I'm just going to scrunch up like this, and then put that in my next twist. So I've got an 8-inch poof going here. Now, you might have made one before where your twists were all the same size top and bottom, or your loops were the same size. It's just too much for us. We've made a bunch of these wreaths, and we just find that this is a better option for us. So I'm going to go there, and I'm going to open up the next one and put my twist in just like so. Close it twice, and keep going all the way around the top doing 8-inch poofs. All right, I'm to my last piece. So I'm gathering this guy up. I'm going to open up the twist where I went upstairs or stepped up into, place that down in there, and then close my twist on it. Now we're going to head to the part that makes this our one roll wonder wreath. We're going to use this whole roll, but that's where we are so far. So now I just need to take my scissors. So where your mesh is still connected, okay, I want you to grab that, and I want you to move about 2 inches up from the twist. So here's my twist. I'm going to move up about 2 inches, and I'm just going to whack this off. I'm not worried about what the cut's going to look like or how it's going to leave my mesh or anything. We'll talk about that in a second. You just want to make sure you leave a big enough tail here that it doesn't come through your twist, and that's plenty. All right, so I've got this guy ready, and I want to show you something. Remember how I told you got to keep going? This is not pretty. This is not good. We're not there. Matter of fact, this is my least favorite part of the wreath. Making the loops and doing all that is just one of the things you have to do, and it's my least favorite part. So now that I've got it done, let's move it out of the way. All right. I do not like leftover little bits of mesh in my stash. I don't know how much is left on here. I have no way of knowing, and if I started a whole wreath and I ended up being like two twists shy of finishing, I'd be really upset. So here's what I decided to do. Because I want my wreath to be fuller than it is, but not taller, we're going to take the rest of this and make that happen. So you remember you made that 7-inch mark on your tape? Notice how I've got this whole jaggedy edge. I am lining it up with the end of my tape, and we're going to pretend like this one is straight, and we're going to cut it at 7 inches. Now I'm actually going to go through and cut everything on the end of this roll at 7 inches, and I'm going to use it in my wreath. This way I do not have in my stash pieces and parts of leftover mesh. I never mind having too much ribbon, but I never like having pieces and parts of mesh. I just never know what's on the roll, and I never know if I can plan a whole wreath from it or what have you. So go through, and you're going to cut as many 7-inch pieces as you can, and then I'll show you how we're going to use those in our wreath. So after I cut all of the mesh that was left on my roll into 7-inch pieces, I have 19 pieces left. Now on my wreath form, I have 18 twists, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of these into each twist, and I'll have one left over. So that means one of my twists will get 2. The rest will get 1. Now, if you're doing this at home, we have gotten between 18 and 22. And the other day, we even got 24 extra pieces. We have no idea how, but we did. And all we do is distribute them throughout the twist. So here's what you do. You're just going to make a loop. So I just roll the cut edges to the cut edges. So you want your raw ends not raw. You want your finished ends out here, and then you scrunch it in the middle, all right? So you just open up a twist and place this inside. Again, I'm not done with this twist. I've still got ribbon with lace and flowers to add. But what you do by adding these twists in like this is you create the look of a ruffle wreath, a loop wreath, and a poof wreath all in one without doing all that work. So I'm gonna run around, and all of these I have left are gonna get placed inside a twist. And by the way, don't be too precious about it. It won't even matter. When it's over with, everything just works together so well. You won't be able to tell where the twist is and the poof is. You won't tell any of that. So just stick that down inside of there, and we'll get right back together. Let me show you this real quick too. Remember how I told you that I didn't really care about the whole messiness of this? I don't, and here's why. I'm just gonna roll this in, and when this whole wreath is said and done, you will never know that I did that. And this is my last one to place in, so I'm gonna double up this one here. So place that inside, and then I will show you the difference in the wreath. So now you can see how much fuller the wreath is from where we started. And these little curly cues just look really cute. Now is the part I'm nervous about because I don't have any idea how this is going to go, guys, because I have not planned it. Let me show you what I brought in to play with. So I ordered from Amazon because I don't have anything lace. I ordered this from Amazon, and I thought this is pretty. It's burlap, which you guys know I'm not really into burlap lately because it kind of messes with me, but I think I'll be fine. But I ordered this, okay, and I thought there's my lace element. And then we carry these in store, these magnolia pieces, and I thought, if I like this, I can either put it in my room, or Shannon's already said if she likes it, she'll put it on her front door. So we'll see what happens. So I have those to work with, and then I have this sign to work with here. I thought this would be really cute no matter what, and kind of dress it up. And then lastly, my favorite thing is tubing. So we had some tubing left over from some kits we did, and it's white, which matches this. So we're just going to play and see what we get. Okay, well, let me tell you what I'm working with. So I'm only using one ribbon in this wreath, and normally I use 3 ribbons. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. I'm using the ribbon, I'm using the floral, and I'm using the tubing. So I'm just going to play and see what happens. So what I decided to do was to cut for myself as many 36-inch pieces from my roll that I could, and I got 10 yard pieces of ribbon, okay? Now what I want to do is I want to dovetail these. So I'm just going to fold this lace to lace and then cut from the fold to the edge. That's weird with the lace, but let's see how that looks. Oh, that's pretty. I like it. Now, thank goodness Shannon's going to help me because I'm already feeling the effects of this burlap. I should have just bought lace ribbon. But I'm glad I got the burlap because I think it needed it. All right, so it needed that extra color. All right, so I have dovetailed the ends of my ribbon, and now I'm going to do it just like we normally do, which is our kind of awareness bow. So what I'm going to do is cross my tails over like so. Okay, so it looks like an awareness ribbon. Then I'm going to take this back loop, and I'm going to put it underneath where they cross over to give me those pretty loops, and then I'm going to scrunch in the middle like this, and I'm going to see what that looks like. It's very floppy, and I may not like it. We may want to adjust it, but let's go ahead and put it into a twist and see what it looks like. So I'm going to open up a twist here, and I'm going to place this down inside, and then I'm going to close this up just to look. So you guys kind of get to come along for the ride on this one. I don't know if I dislike it. I don't know. Let's just look at that. It's not bad, actually. And it actually might work really well considering I only have 10 of these. So I think I'm going with it. What do you think?
Oh, I like it.
Do you like it?
I do like it.
All right, so Shannon says yes. So we're going to go with it. So that means I'm going to make 10 of these awareness style bows and put them, I'm just going to alternate them around the wreath in every other twist, top and bottom. So like so. Scrunch the middle. And since I did this one on the top, getting the screen, so I have this one on the top, I'm going to go down to the bottom, and I'm going to skip this one because it's too close and come over here. So I'm just going to alternate them. Notice I'm putting the tails toward me and not toward the middle of the wreath because I don't really care to do that. I'm going to be covering the middle with a sign, so I want those tails to kind of come out toward me. All right, so that one, and now I'll go to this one because I'm skipping the one in between here. So I'll go to this next one. I'm gonna go ahead and open it up and be ready for the bow. And now I'm just gonna do that all the way around the wreath until I'm out of ribbon. So I'm on my last one, and some of the spots have more like, because I had 2 pieces more than I should. Then some of them, like right here, I have a lot gathered up together, but that'll be fine. When I add the green and do all the rest, it won't matter. So let's do a little spin, you can see. So I love the black and the burlap and the white. I think that looks good. So I'm glad we went with that. And I'm surprised how it looks actually, because I wasn't sure. But now I'm going to go to my greenery. Now, I feel like I could separate these and get more use out of them, because these fern pieces I think can go by themselves, and then these magnolia pieces I think can go by themselves. So I'm going to pull this apart. And this is something I do a lot. So if you're ever looking at greenery, don't look at it as just one piece. Look how much I get out of here. If I break this apart, I actually end up with 4 pieces I can use anywhere throughout. So even if I wanted to go this with this and this with this, I could do that and put it through my wreath, which I actually kind of like that. So that may be what I do. And I pulled 5 of these for this wreath, which means I have enough to do every other spot on the wreath. So let's just see. Remember, we don't stop till we're done. If I got to this point, I would probably stop. I would be like, I don't really like this, but I'm not. I'm going to put the greenery in and see what happens. So here's how I'm doing it. I also don't hot glue. I don't hot glue because I want to change this out, you know, season after season or whenever I feel like doing it. So what I'm going to do is take my pick and I'm just going to tuck it down into the mesh, just any old where that it goes. Sometimes you have to be a little forceful. And then I'm just going to twist that tie around it like so. And because these are wired, I can move these around any old place or any old way I want to. And I'm not going to tuck my twist yet because I may come back and put some of that tubing in it. I may not. I may decide against the tubing, but we'll see. Another thing I can do, now that I'm looking at it, let's do it this way. I'm going to open this back up. I think I'll send one piece one way and one the other. So what I meant was I laid the fern in one direction and I'm going to lay the magnolia in another direction and close that up. And then use the wire to kind of maneuver these guys around. And fill the wreath up first. Like, I wouldn't love this at this point, but I'm going to keep going because I promise you, if you keep going, you'll end up liking what you're working with. So I'm just going to go to every other open twist and add greenery. So I had a couple sets left over, literally 2 sets left over. So what I think I'm going to do, you remember how I told you in some areas of my wreath, it's hard for you to see, but in some areas I have like 3 burlaps together. This really needs some greenery right here between them. So I'm going to open up, and where the bow is, I'm going to add greenery right there. And that'll just help with the movement and the texture of the wreath. So I'm going to tuck these down in. And I want to tell you something. Don't stress about not hot gluing these in. No one is going to come up to your wreath and pull and tug on these things. Like, if they do, they don't need to be coming to your door. I don't know why they would do that, but they're not going to do that. So twisting these guys in are going to hold them just fine. And you really don't need the hot glue, because then later you can come back and take this all apart and use it for something else. All right, so there's that one. I think I had another one of those. I'm stuck on the table. There we go. Yep, I have another one over here that needs some greenery. I think this one. So I'm going to do it as well. And this is my last piece. So I used 5 picks that I took in half, or Shannon actually took them in half for me. And I'm putting 1 piece in one direction and 1 piece in the other direction. And if you're concerned about the pieces falling off, put your twist through the greenery. Like, if I tuck this in and then I lay it down, I can put the twist through the greenery so that it will hold it in place. And this is how I've made my wreaths forever. Yes, I have some that I hot glue, some that I keep. If I'm giving it as a gift, sometimes I will hot glue it, sometimes I won't, especially if it's somebody that might say, hey, will you remake one for me, or will you change this one or something? So get these all tucked in. And now let's look at it again. So here's what we're looking like. I do not know that I'm going to put the twists in, the little, the tubing, but if I am, I'm only going to put it where there's a bow. I don't want to cover up my greenery. I think that pop of color is real important. So let's try it with some tubing. Let's just see. Oh, I put a piece over here. So I have this really long piece. I do not need this long piece. So I think I'm going to cut it into 3-yard pieces. So I'm going to use my measure again. So I got 1 yard, 2 yards, 3 yards. And what I do with the tubing is I just kind of make loops. So I just cross this over here, okay? And then I just make loops as big or as small as you want. Since I did 3-yard length, I can do a pretty big piece. Some people do not love tubing. This is too much. Look, I don't even need that. I'm going to cut that off. I think a 2-yard piece is plenty. Some people don't love tubing, okay? And I get it. But when I use it because I love the extra layer of texture. Yeah, I'm going to like it. I like it every time. I like the extra layer of texture it gives the wreath. So let me show you what I mean. See how that just adds a little white? It just does something. I don't know. Shannon and I both feel the same way about it. It just adds something. So here I'm ready to tuck my twists behind. So all I'm going to do is take my little wreath twist and tuck them behind and get them out of the way. And then something we like to do. I like to take my thumb on that whole twist. Remember, it's got mesh, it's got burlap, it's got the tubing in it. And I'm going to press it down to the wreath form. And by doing that, it really gives you a beautiful kind of floof. It brings everything to the top and it looks good. All right, you may not be loving the tubing, but let me finish before you make a decision on that. So let's go. Every bow is going to get tubing, 2 yards. Okay, so I'm going to spin this again and show you what we ended up with when we put the tubing in. And I got to be honest, it doesn't look good on camera, so reserve your judgment till photos. I'll add photos to the end. Because honestly, doesn't it, Shannon? Like, can you see it on camera versus in person?
Yeah, I love it.
The green is so pretty in person. And on camera, it looks very disconnected. All right, let's add our sign. This is what's going to be, oh, look, that ties everything together, doesn't it? All right, so what you want to do is discover where you want the top of your wreath to be. And you can, I don't know, I think I kind of like, I've got this fern that you really can't see, this little fern piece that's kind of out, and I kind of like it out. I think it'd be pretty out. Do you think, or up?
I like it.
Kind of out. We'll leave it there. If I need to adjust it, I can. So that means I got to pick which one of these is going to be my center top. And I think it's going to be this guy right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this one up. We did go through and close all the twists, tuck them under, but all you do is tuck them under and then squish that center. So I'm just going to, I don't even really need to open this the whole way. I'm just going to open it one time. And then I'm going to tuck my sign string or twine down in here. And then I'm going to twist it closed. And that'll be what holds this guy in. And then I can tuck that and get it out of the way again. It was already out of the way, but I'm just going to tuck my twist behind. Just like so. Now, if you do this and you find that your sign is not in the right spot, which I think mine is going to hang just in the right spot where it's at. But if you find that it's not in the right spot, there's a quick adjuster, okay? So all you have to do is twist your twine. So you can pick your sign up and twist it, and that'll make it shorter. And I usually don't mess with my sign too awful much as far as placement until I hang it on the wall or until I put it on the door where it's going, because it's really hard to tell with it laying. And when you stand your wreath up, inevitably pieces are going to shift. And when that happens, you can really do a better job of placing. So you can tuck, you can pull out, you know, if you want to do like this, whatever you want to do, you can get that all nice and done. That's done. I'm going to hang it and take a picture of it, and then you can judge it. And look, you can judge it. I don't care. I had no idea where I was going. We picked some colors that we liked. I picked some pieces that I liked. I added lace. The lace threw me. I'm not going to joke because I'm not a lace fan. Like, I've never been a lace fan, so it kind of threw me. But I think adding some stuff I did like wood and black and the magnolias and kind of the greenery and even the tubing, I think doing that helped. So that is my collab wreath. It's very different, and we'll see how it looks. We'll see who ends up getting to take it home. All right, guys, that is it. That is my entry for the Alabama Fab 5 collaboration. This is using lace that our Green Acres challenged me to do. That was a tough challenge. I'm telling you, it was a tough challenge. I do like how it turned out. I also like the idea of being able to use black mesh in a spring wreath. I know it sounds crazy, but it works. So there you go. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Be sure to go follow the links in the description, watch all the videos, comment on all the videos so you can be entered to win that $50 Amazon gift card. Thanks so much, guys. Till next time. Bye now.